So my embarrassing confession, I don't actually have chai tea. I do have tea today though, so yeah. So in honor of Era, it's your birthday this week, right? We're doing a birthday celebration tea party. Exactly that. I love it. So my dark confession is I said I was going to do black tea, but it turns out the black tea that we have here is actually decaf, and that's not cool. So I'm doing green tea. So at least it has some caffeine in it. I can't go from coffee to like nothing. That's just you know gotta have some caffeine. But it's in a black cup, so maybe that helps. And it's still way too hot to drink, so I will be waiting a moment. Yep, too hot. Cheerio. Forgot to pick up some crumpets. So yeah, I guess I could have done a different cup but yeah, I'm just so hopelessly addicted to my cyber cup, whatever the thing is. I should have done that. Yeah, just some like a GoPro strapped to my head, just a crazy running to get chai tea video. So hello everyone. So how's everyone doing? This is we're 1 week late, so apologies for delaying. Trying to stick to the once every 2 week schedule for coffee or tea or anything drinkable with Eric. Um, but yeah, I was basically in crunch mode last week trying to get this asset package stuff working, and so I would have felt terribly ashamed to have a presentation with nothing to show. So this week I do have stuff to show, so it's very exciting. It's a rare occurrence where I can actually show something kind of cool. So yeah, lots going on this week. I'll be showing some of that stuff, and rumor is we're going to try a new the 1.3 beta build of Eon later. So yeah, it's lots going on. I think there might have been another thing or two we were going to try to fit in here too. So should be a packed schedule. So hello, Mr. Mickey Rog. Anyone else drinking tea here? Keeping with the theme. All right. Let's see. What am I doing? Define the name. That's all right. Coffee is still my first love, but I can spend a little time with some tea. Oh, questions. Did I use Android Studio for building the game? Yes, the Android version does use Android Studio. So, yeah. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, I guess it's technically possible. Well, I guess if you're using like Unity and stuff like that, you probably don't interact with Android Studio. But yeah, Android version it's all cobbled together here with Android Studio. So this is what that looks like. A bunch of fun Gradle files. Oops, got to sync my Gradle file. Android Studio is always asking you to sync your Gradle file. Okay. It's always very busy on stuff. Okay, syncing. Okay, it is synced. So yeah, there's all this fun, weird, Gradle stuff for putting together the game. I am working towards trying to get Android up on the public repo. What I'll be showing today is kind of a step in that direction. There's all these like interlocking pieces of puzzles, to try to move towards the grand master plan. But yeah, part of that is getting Android up on the public repo. So in the same way that you build like the CMake build right now, or you can build the Windows build if you have WSL installed, you'll be able to do something similar to come up with an Android build. So yeah, I've been making you all wait way too long for that, but it's coming together. So yeah, now we just need 1.9, also 1.8 still, but yeah, 1.8 is getting closer. Isn't Android Studio using Java? Yeah, it does. I mean, yes. Well, it's written in Java. The whole like IntelliBrains or the JetBrains Intella, whatever it's called, that's all written in Java. And then Android. Oh yeah, interesting bit of trivia is like all the Android APIs. Those are actually, you are writing that stuff in Java or Kotlin, which is their new fancy, or it's not there. It's like a public thing, or it's open source kind of thing. But it's kind of like a more modern, slick version of. It's similar to Java, but yeah, it uses like the same APIs and whatnot. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's like an alternative way to write code. So basically, there's for the Android version, there's like a thin layer of Java on top of like the engine, which the engine, as if you poked around, it's all C++, and Python, a big old like wad of C++ and Python code. But then for the individual platforms, there's like a little layer on top that you have to like deal with the OS. And so on the Android version, that layer is Kotlin and Java. And so that's what, if I come into Android Studio here, you can see there's a little bit of stuff. This stuff isn't in the public repo yet. This is just like the little bits of Java code for, if you see like, if you're installing the game and it tries to sync your assets and that fails, it'll pop up like a dialog, and that's written here in like Java code. So install error dialog fragment. So yeah, some of you unfortunately have maybe run into this at times, or log thread or Ballistica app. This is like high level stuff. This is like high level Java code that's talking to Android basically. But there's not a ton of it. It's just like, whoa, a thin layer of stuff. And similarly on other platforms, like on the Mac version or any Apple versions, there's like a high level layer of like Swift code, which is Apple's modern language. And similar stuff for not too much for like the Windows version, because they use SDL, which is all C++. So like that stuff is all in the public repo. But some of these platforms where you have to like write a little layer around the thing, it's in like the specific language for that platform. So anyway, trivia rant's done. Stop using big code things. Sorry, I can't stop with the big code things. Actually, if you're not liking big code things, you probably won't like today. It's gonna, well, I guess it's not really code, but it will be a bit of a tech demo coming up here as soon as my AT is cool enough to sip on. But yeah, that was the confidential Android code. Hopefully nothing too confidential. Hopefully I didn't like scroll through like my private keys or something like that, where you can all publish under my name now. I don't think I did though. Okay, so what you did is use C++ with NDK. Yes, yeah. Most of it is the NDK. So most of Ballistica or Bomb Squad, most of that code is C++ and is shared across platforms. So as much as possible, I try to do everything in the C++ layer or the Python layer, because those two things are basically everywhere. But like I said, you do have to like interface with the operating system in some ways. So like whenever you have to like ask Android to do something for you, you usually have to ask that in Java or Kotlin. They do, like in some cases, companies have been starting to like publish C++ interfaces. Like I know there's some stuff you can do in Android. You can technically write an app where it's entirely C++. But I think that's basically Google provides you with like a C++ wrapper, so they do like the Java parts for you. I didn't go down that route. I like being able to use the Java stuff natively. It's a little bit of work, like making Java talk to C++ or C. It's similar to like making C talk to Python. You have to like have these weird little interfaces. If you've poked around with that code, it's a little ugly, but it's kind of interesting. Like if you go into the Bomb Squad repo, that would be under. Like an example of that is source, Ballistica. Let's just go into base. Each feature set has its little like Python section, which is where all that stuff lives. So here we go. Here's a good example. Let's do Python methods base1.ccc. CT. Only 2 C's. I kept going with the C's there. But you can see I've probably shown you code like this before, where it's just, whoa. This is basically how to define Python calls in C code. So this is like app is active. This is how you define the app is active function. So here we define little C code that runs all this scary Python macros and stuff. And then we tell Python about it. So we define this little structure saying like, this is defining a function. It's called app is active. And when someone calls it in Python, we call this C function here. And it doesn't take any arguments. And this is its documentation. So you can see like all these little things are just making an interface between Python and C. So it's kind of fun to poke around with. Anyway, Burp, burp, burp. Sorry, I'm getting into random questions here. I need to be doing my demo. So I've used Java as well. Yeah, I've used not a ton of Java, but I know my way around Java. I mean, in my opinion, Java is very similar. I mean, if you know C++, C++ feels like a messy version of Java. It's like Java with the safety features removed, stuff like that. But they do feel pretty similar. Java's just like a higher level, safer sort of version of it. What's normal stuff? So I was so the big demo today is asset packages. Is that normal, or is that too technical? Um, Vim. Editor talk. Cool. Wonder if you use Vim. I am an Emacs person, so cue the cue the editor holy wars here. But yeah, I've been using Emacs here for a long time. I have a ton of friends and people that use like Vim. A lot of like, not even just old school people, but like when I was back at Pixar, there was a lot of Vim users, some Emacs users. I happen to be an Emacs user, but still love Emacs. It's like a weird addiction. I try to break free from it, and just like move on to Visual Studio Code or like modern stuff sometimes. But I keep going back to my Emacs. I don't know. Emacs, it's weird. Stuff like this, it's so much work to kind of configure it and figure out how to make it do stuff, but it's all open source and super, you can do whatever with it. So it's like this weird janky pickup truck held together with duct tape that like it gets everything done it needs to do, but it's not necessarily pretty. But I like it. So, oh, thank you. Um, oh, Doom Emacs, cool. I've never used one of the packages like Doom Emacs, or I know there's other ones out there, just like the nice bundled up versions. I'm wondering if that would like save me some of the pain I go through trying to. I just like wrangle my own configs, but it's kind of fun. Like I feel like once every year or two, I just go into like tinker with Emacs mode for like 2 days, where it's just like, okay, what's new in Emacs land, and figure all that stuff out. I actually did that like a week or two ago. I learned some. Let's see, I installed a few new things. I can show you my Emacs config. This is very exciting. So I'm using the modern like use package stuff, but yeah, I went through. What did I do? Oh, I added like Vertigo and Orderless and Consult. Some new stuff I need to learn how to use. But anyway, sorry, I'm going down the Emacs rabbit hole. I must stop. Okay, asset pack. Sorry. So anyway, the big thing that I've been working on this has been basically like the big outstanding feature of 1.8 is asset packages. So I'm happy to say, as of like a few days ago, or basically like last night or this morning in some ways, they are like sort of functional. There's my grand reveal. But they are functional in one particular way. I think I mentioned this last time, that asset packages will be used for like two things. The first of which is what is functional now, is replacing my asset pipeline. So basically when you're building a version of the game yourself, like if you're doing a total conversion, or if you're me, you have to build all the built-in assets. And so that's like, I have this 15-year-old super janky pipeline to like build assets myself. And the goal is to replace that with asset packages. So like if you come look through like my private repo, there's like source, assets, data, meshes, all this stuff. There's like OBJ files, which are inputs to this stuff, or textures. It's all like JSON files and PNG files and whatever. So like input images. And then I have stuff that like runs and converts that to different textures, formats like DDS, and things like that. And so basically my plan is, this is kind of it's very finicky and hard to set up, and I didn't want to try and like, ask people to try to get that up and running, because it depends on, very particular things being installed and whatever, maybe it would be possible. But my goal has just been to like use this asset package or this workspace stuff that I've been building over the last year or two, and basically trying to make it possible for anyone to build assets without having to install a bunch of weird binaries and scripts and things like that. So yeah, so as of today, that stuff is kind of up and running. So I wanted to do just a little demo of that. And let's see. So I think the best way to do a demo, apologies by the way, if I just like disappear and you say something I don't respond. I'm just gonna go into like demo mode. So just to like preserve my train of thought here. But I will return from my demo mode soon. If you holler something with enough exclamation points, maybe I'll see it. But anyway, so the way this works, let's see, what do I want to do? I want to, okay, I'm just going to go do like a full-on demo as if I'm a normal user. So I'm going to like log out, or sign out, I should say, from that. And so the one thing you need, So basically, I'm going to be showing how to like build local assets for your game using asset packages. And so this will be like like I said, the first of two big features of asset packages. Then once this is all like ready and once all the game assets are being built with asset packages, then the second part will be the online downloadable ones. So that you'll be using the same things. It's just you'll be able to like have people download those on the fly when they join your server, stuff like that. So that'll probably be the neater part overall, but this is quite an important part too. Especially for any of you doing, like I said, like total conversions, like you Eon folks, stuff like that. Hopefully this will be useful. So, all right, so I'm gonna go to my public repo, local docs, Ballistica, git pull, make sure I've got the latest. I'm gonna do a make clean, which blows away anything that's not in the Git repo, but that's not from the Git repo. So now I'm starting with basically a from scratch, like this is as if I had gone to GitHub and cloned this. So, ta-da! All right, and now, so just to make sure this works, I'm just going to, I could do make CMake, but I'm just going to do like the prefab. So make prefab, GUI release. So build a nice, so this is just going to basically assemble assets, download an already compiled version of the game or already compiled binary and launch it. And so this is what you would do if you want to do some scripting or whatever and you don't care about like the C++ parts. So you can see it's doing whatever, various magic, downloading. This is the old asset pipeline. It's still downloading most assets using this kind of weird system I built where I compile all the assets in my private repo and then it like caches them on a server, and then the public repo lets you download those. But the public repo doesn't let you like make your own or anything. So that's what we will be fixing here. But most everything is still in that old system. So anyway, all right, there we go. So we just assembled a version of the game. Now the game's running. Hooray. But one kind of interesting thing here, so there's nothing new there, but one thing you might notice is if you poke around a bit and you go under, let's go under build. So in the build is where it builds everything in this directory. Prefab, we just built a prefab build, full Mac ARM GUI, blah, 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 whatever. Release, data. Okay, so yeah, here's where it like assembled the game into this directory. Now the interesting part here, if you come into data, you're like, what the heck is textures 2? You have to say data. Yeah, you have to say it like that. So here's all the existing game textures that we know and love. But temporarily, for right now, there's also this textures 2 directory. And textures 2 it's like a parallel universe of textures. So textures 2 comes from asset packages. Textures comes from janky old asset pipeline. But the magical wonder of textures 2 is that this is the brave new world where we can all just like make our own stuff in textures 2 and replace the game's assets with your own or whatever. The plan is, right now there's just hello world.dds, but the plan is basically to slowly move all of these textures into asset packages. So basically textures2 will fill up with stuff. Once that is done, the old textures will go away and textures2 will become textures. So you can see we're in like a weird temporary like under construction phase right now where we have textures2 and textures. But anyway, the main point is that textures2 is asset package based, which means you can add stuff to it using asset packages, which is what the demo is going to be. So let me sign in with my temporary secondary account. Okay, eFro2. All right. This is it's like my alternate email address. I just like make temporary accounts with it just to like test things as a normal user. Just because I have all my fancy schmancy admin features if I'm logged in as regular eFro. So I want to make sure this is working like as a non-admin user. I think I've logged in with this guy before for like demos. I usually call it something else, just like Fupichu or something like that. But today he's eFro2. Okay, so anyway, so asset packages. So we've had, as a quick review, we've had workspaces. Oh no, I need to delete this. I was testing this out last night, but I want to start from scratch. So, okay. So workspaces have been around for a while. So workspaces, if you're not familiar, they're basically just like groups of files in the cloud. So you can you can create a workspace, fill it with scripts, and then you can use that to like mod your game on your phone or something like that. So you don't have to like physically add files to your phone in the right place and things like that. But I've been doing a lot of revamping on workspaces over the past months because I have like big, exciting plans for them for other things. One of which is assets. So yeah, today will be the first example of that. So normally, if you create a workspace, you'll just get workspace 1, type untyped, nothing in here. So the one bit of magic now, so this part, let's see, first I'm going to go in here, manage workspace, assets, test, rename. So this little bit of magic, pay attention to this because there will be, I will be adding like a UI to do this, but for right now, you have to do it manually. So basically, we need to change our workspace type from untyped to an assets workspace. And so the magic to do that, like I said, I will be adding something, probably when you hit new workspace, it'll like give you options, like do you want to make a regular workspace or an assets workspace? Something like that. But the only thing that will affect is there is a little config file in your workspace. And so we just have to make that by hand. So we're going to select our workspace, do add, and we're going to make an empty file and call it workspace.toml, T-O-M-L. And so this is, if there's this file in your workspace, this is like a config file for your workspace, basically. So we're going to add that file, edit that file, and we're going to add the magic line here, which is type equals regular double quotes, assets underscore v1. So this is right now the two types of workspaces you can have are like undefined or whatever the other one's called in assets v1. So save that, come back out. Let's go to workspaces, and you can see that worked. So our workspace is now assets v1. Right. And so what does this mean, you might ask? So assets v1 workspaces, it's just they behave a little differently. Like if you select the workspace, you'll see little things like this, like asset totals. This shows you like what's in your workspace. There's not a whole lot. Like there will probably be more differences in the future, but basically all it is like the workspace now knows how to deal with asset files. And to make asset files, what you can do is just drag any file in here, like a PNG or a JPEG, for example, will make a texture. So let's just do that. So I have this convenient little copy of logo.png here. So we're going to add that to our workspace. So to do that, let's select the workspace, do add, upload a file. I just learned recently you can like drag it over the choose file button. Logo.png, add, boink. All right. So now we have workspace.toml and logo.png. Okay, so now we have this workspace with logo.png in it. So like, what do we do with this? You could you could go back and like sync this, but that's not going to do anything. It's basically you're just going to get like a PNG file in your Python directory when you're running the game, and like, what? What do I do with this? That makes no sense. I should probably disallow that actually, because it wouldn't really make any sense to like sync an assets workspace to your game. I think technically it would work, but anyway. So anyway, this workspace is just like your set of stuff. So to actually get this in the game or do something useful with it, you have to make an asset package. And that is what the new section is. So this is, as of today, this should work for everyone. Oh no, I have the old one here. Let me delete. Sorry, I didn't clean up my mess earlier. This is terrible. Okay. All right, so asset packages, new exciting section. So an asset package is basically just, you can define a named package, which is just like my assets. And then you can publish like different versions of that. So you can like make changes to it, publish version 2, publish version 3, publish version 4. And then the game can be set up to basically use a particular version of those assets. So right now, let's actually, to get on a little tangent here, let's come in and if we go into Ballistica and then config, project config.json. So, whoops, I forgot that doesn't scroll the whole thing anymore. So if you go to the Ballistica repo, you'll notice there's a project config.json, which is, this is basically like overall random stuff for the project. And you'll see there's a new thing up at the top here, which is just assets. And so it's just a single value, and this is just an asset package. So this is an asset package ID. This is basically saying like, these are the assets that this project is using. And right now you'll see it's set to, an asset package has this form. It's like an account ID dot package name dot version. So right now, A0, which is me, dot Ballistica standard assets. Oh, I brought this name back, by the way. We had like we used to have the Python package called BASTD, BASTD. So I was like, this is a good opportunity to bring that back in terms of like the default assets. So we got BASTD assets. So Ballistica standard assets. So by default, the game will be, like I said, using the standard assets. And what is the standard assets right now? It is hello world.dds. There's not a whole lot there. But the cool trick we're going to do here is we're going to make an asset package. So let's just call it like test assets. We can use dashes. Dashes are okay. And basically all you do, super cool demo thing. You point it at an assets v1 workspace. So, hey, we have one. So apply. And yeah, so now we have an asset package here. And so to use an asset package, you have to like publish a version of it. So you can't just like use this package by default. You can only use like published versions. And by default, there is this, you'll see down here, there's already a published version. And this is like a magical published version called dev. So dev is a very special magical asset package published version that only the owner of the asset package can use. But it has some magical properties. Like basically it updates itself. So that's like the big feature. So like when you're working on stuff, you don't want to have to come in here to your package and like publish a new version and then go into your config here and like update to that version every time you like tweak an image or something like that. Like that would suck. So the whole point of this dev stuff is that you can, if we come in here, you'll see full ID for this version. This is not nearly as pretty as my ID because the account ID is super huge. But you can see this is the full ID for the dev version of test assets. And so basically all you do, let's copy this ID. Let's come into our project config and let's replace BASTD assets with that. So now we got a blah, 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 test assets.dev. Now save that. And now this is the moment of truth. Well, there will be a few moments of truth, but okay, so we're in here. Now let's run what we just did, make prefab GUI release. And, oh, yes. Okay, this is actually planned, well, not planned, but this is understandable. We hit an error. So This is an error everyone will hit, but make sure to read the error message because it tells you what's wrong. It says to use dev asset packages, you have to be signed in to BA Cloud. And as I mentioned, like dev asset packages, they're only available to you. So if you make a dev asset package, like nobody else can use that package except you. So the problem here is that when we're running this build, it's not us. It's not signed in. So there's a little thing, if you're under tools, there's BA Cloud. Some of you have probably played with it. If you go like tools/BA Cloud, let me make this bigger. So Tools BA Cloud it's basically a command line interface to Ballistica.net. So it has a bunch of little, like, if you haven't messed with it, it has a bunch of little handy stuff for like working with workspaces. You can say like BA Cloud workspace get my workspace, and it'll just like download that to the current directory and stuff like that. So it's very useful if you're wanting to like, work on a computer where you have access to it. But anyway, to use asset packages as part of your build, like BA Cloud needs to be signed in as you. And so let me show this error again. So if we try to build, it gives us this error. It says to use dev asset package versions, sign in with your account. And so how do we do that? So if you do tools/BA Cloud by itself, this will just show you like the commands you can use. So what we want to do is sign in. So let's do tools BA Cloud sign in. This will open a web browser, and I'm already signed in, so it's just going to be like, hey, do you want to use eFro2? Allow. And done. Okay. Yay, that was... Okay, now let's do tools BA Cloud. Tools BA Cloud status. This is a handy one just to see if you're signed in. So, hey, we're signed in as eFro2. Okay, now let's go back to what we were going to do. Make prefab GUI release. Let's try this again. Lazy build, doing things. Something happened. All right, that was pretty quick. And you'll notice this magical little thing, test assets dev GUI desktop v1 flavor assembled. So you always, whenever you see a green line with assembled, that's a good sign. So what the heck just happened? So if you come in here and you look at bdata, textures 2, what the heck? We have logo.dds. So yeah, basically when it's running the asset builds, as part of this build, it will, because it's the magical like dev version of that asset package, it will contact the server, be like, hey server, like I need the latest version of your stuff. And the server's like, okay, let me compile the textures. And then the server sends it down to the client, and then it builds the game with that. So basically that's that. So the super cool future is you can be in your workspace. If we replace, let's do logo.png. Let's just copy it, do like, copy, rename that to logo2.png. Come back down here, make prefab GUI release. Burp, burp, burp. Cloud is doing magical cloud stuff, running one asset build. Burp, burp, burp. Okay, and done. All right. And now let's come back here. Oh, look, we have logo2.dds. So yeah, so that's basically that. And to prove that this is working, the game by default will whenever it's loading a file, it's going to look in textures 2. If it doesn't find something there, it'll go to textures 1. So logo.dds actually will replace, there is logo.dds in the game. So the one from the asset package is actually going to override that. So to prove that's happening, let's do it the manual way first. So we have logo.dds here on the desktop. So let's open that in Photoshop. Come on, Photoshop. You can do this. Okay, here we have the logo. What we need on this logo is a nice green nose. All right, make a nice green nose. Save that. Okay, that's here. And so we can do this manually if we come and just replace logo.png with this one. So I want to add like a replace button here or something, or just make it so you can drag it in. I don't know. Right now you just have to go to the level above it, do add again. So we'll add logo.png. Okay, modified 0 seconds ago. All right, now let's run this again. Wait a moment, have a sip of tea. And ta-da! In the game. So you can see basically that's the asset package pipeline. So yeah, and to get, let's see. Yeah, so anything in your asset workspace, you just muck with that and then run a build and you get that. So that's, yeah, it's all doing cloud builds. It's distributing them among my like 80 servers. So we should have like mad crazy CPU cycles to be able to like build tons of stuff. It'll be really interesting to see once I have like the next thing on my agenda is to basically, like I said, convert all this stuff to asset packages. So it'll be super cool to see once there's like hundreds of files in here, like how fast the the cloud machines like chew through those hundreds of files. But it's pretty smart about like it only updates things that have changed and stuff like that. So I'm sure we're going to run into like some rough edges and things like that. So if you guys start messing with this, like please let me know if you run into bugs or, you know, if it just says, like one thing you might see, it says like running one asset build. If it just like keeps saying that for like 10 minutes, then there's probably something going wrong. It tries to like, if there's not a server available, it'll like wait and stuff like that. There should always be servers available, but there are some cases where it could get stuck. But you know, I want to lean on this for like all of my stuff, so I want to make it like behave super good. On a related note, I upped the per account storage to 32 megs, which is still not a ton, but that should hopefully be enough to like get started with assets. You can come down here and like see what your space is. Like certain things like workspace backups happen automatically, so that might chew through some storage. Yeah, we'll just like, we'll play this by ear. Like if it turns out like nobody can actually accomplish anything with 32 megs, maybe we can up that. It's on my agenda to like get storage packs up and running as soon as possible. So if people like want to start storing gigs in here, like you can do that. It's just like you'll need to, you know, pay some in-app currency to help me pay for those servers because servers are pricey. Let's see, there's something else I wanted to show. Oh yeah, there's to kind of take this demo one level further, I wanted to show another trick you can do. So we just were editing this by like, we came in here to the workspace editor and just replaced these files. Let's kill logo 2. We don't need logo 2 anymore. So delete, goodbye logo 2. And make prefab GUI release. That was quick. See, it doesn't take long if you're just deleting stuff. Okay, so now we're just down to logo. But yeah, one cool thing is I wanted to show some stuff you can do with BA Cloud. So like I said, you can run tools, BA Cloud. Like one neat thing is, let me move this stuff over a little bit. You can work with workspaces pretty easily with BA Cloud. So one command would be like tools BA Cloud, let's see, workspace, just to show you what's available. Like these are workspace commands. You can do like workspace, get, and then you just give it a path. So we're just gonna do BA Cloud workspace get desktop assets test. And that should, based on this path, it'll know that we want assets test. So there, we just synced assets test down to my desktop. So you can see here is the exact same files from that workspace. And the cool thing you can do here is then you can just work with these files locally, and then you can use tools BA Cloud workspace put, and that same path. So there, it synced that up to assets test. So for an example, if I can do the same thing here where I can do like logo 2222. Sync that up, uploading one file, and then I come in here and refresh, and you can see like, ta-da, there's my cloud workspace is updated. So let's delete that, update the workspace, sync complete, poink. But the neat way you can work with this is if you have your workspace with all your stuff down here, let's just come in here, close this, open that with Photoshop. Okay, so we're working on our little file in our synced version of the workspace. You can chain together a little command here. So we'll have that command like tools BA cloud workspace put desktop BA assets. And then using a little Unixy, we'll do and, which means like if that succeeds, then we want to make prefab GUI release. And so now we have one little line of script like tools BA cloud workspace put, and then build the game. So using that little line, we can have running copy of our game with our little green nose. And now we can just come in here and let's switch this to blue. He needs some angry blue eyebrows. Save that. Hit up, return. So it's basically going to sync the workspace, build the assets, compile the game, launch the game. So take a moment there, building that one texture. There we go, blue eyebrows. So anyway, this is kind of the goal, is like to be able to work in hopefully a nice free-form way here. Like, you know, he needs some buck teeth. Save that, run that. Or fangs, yeah, I guess that's more fangs. It's beautiful. All right, there, I'm gonna check that into the repo. So anyway, yeah, I hope that makes sense as far as like, as far as how to do this stuff. But yeah. Does it convert PNG to DDS locally? No, it does that on the servers. So that's the cool thing about that is if there's hundreds of files, it will have 80 servers to do that. So it can basically send each file to a different server. So we should be able to convert lots of stuff very, very fast. Yeah, if you can abuse this if you want. I mean, it's on a side note, that is like one thing I'm super excited about now that this is up and running. I'm very excited to like go in and make it do smarter stuff about conversions. Like I want to finally update it to use, right now these are DDS files, but they're using like BC5 or BC, I forgot exactly which, BC1, BC3. The compression they're using is like an old version, like an old desktop standard for texture compression. There is a newer one though called BC7, which is, it's like 10 years old, and most computers in the last 10 years support it, and most games probably use it these days. So I want to update the cloud compressor to use the latest and greatest like BC7 stuff. And also, oh yeah, I'm curious. Like I was probably going to standardize on KTX. Is KTX bad? From your guys' perspectives, like working with other tools and things, like is DDS preferable? Because my plan was to just use a single container format for everything. I'm also going to convert mobile to, instead of ETC2, which kind of is crappy, that'll be ASTC. So these are like the first, now that I finally have this pipeline in place, like the first few things on my list are like make it use nice formats. Okay, so you prefer DDS. All right, that's good to know. Interesting. Okay, well, I will check into that. I will, as long as it's, like, if it's reasonably possible to stuff like ASTC files into DDS containers, I can do that. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering, like KTX, I know it was like a more of like an open standard sort of thing, but I guess like DDS is probably so popular just because Microsoft and everything is huge. So I want to use whatever is convenient for people. So DDS it is, as long as that'll work. Let's see. 1 second. He needs evil Terminator eyes here. Okay, so it seems DDS is winning the votes here. So I will give it a whirl, trying to do, there we go. That is perfect. That is perfect. Yes. So this very first version, yeah, this is like a minimum viable product, whatever they call that. Yeah, right now it's textures only. Basically, my next quest for myself is to, well, one is convert all textures over, but yeah, the other will be doing the exact same thing for meshes and audio. Um, so yeah, those will be pretty easy. I don't plan on like making any format changes for those yet. So I'll probably just basically install my exact pipeline that I have for converting OBJ files to Bob files. Um, it'll just happen, on Cloud Magic. so, so yeah, that is, there's tons of stuff or tons of like little cleanup bits and stuff I need to do with this asset package cloud workflow. I'm sure I'll probably run into some rough spots as I'm working with it, but yeah, that's basically the next goal is to convert everything over to textures to meshes to and then audio to and then get rid of the original stuff and then we'll just have the new stuff. Also, one other thing is I did impose some limitations on like file names and stuff for workspaces and, well, mainly workspaces. Like all file names are lowercase only with underscores. So that means like a lot of like this old file format, which is like camel case, which we don't really use anywhere in the repo other than like these old assets. Those will be changing. Also, I plan on adding support for like hierarchies, so we don't have to have just like one giant nasty like layer level of stuff. So textures 2 will basically be like a nice prettified kind of better organized version of all these textures. There will be probably like a mapping system where if you try to load a texture called like Zoe Color Mask.dds with his old name, it'll probably map it to like a new name. That's going to be necessary to like allow joining old servers and stuff too, because they're going to still be using all these old names. So, so basically there will be a nice like organized set of new names, and then like a some sort of magical support layer to support the old names. So anyway. Yeah, well, again, textures 2 is temporary. There will be textures 2 is just because right now like the old build system is writing all this stuff and the new build system, the asset package based one, is writing this stuff. If I put them in the same place, they would step on each other. So I need to kind of keep them separate until I can basically get rid of the old one, if that makes sense. Okay, well, I'm very glad I talked to you guys about the DDS. Um, so yeah, I will do my best to support DDS for this stuff and not worry about KTX. Oh yeah, 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 definitely. Please do. I think I'm at a good break point right now. So basically, this is just a wrap up on asset package stuff. We can do Air's demo and then maybe some Eon after that. So yeah, if you guys want to just follow along with all, I am recording. I remember to record today, so I'll post the YouTube for this if you need to follow along. That'll be tomorrow morning. And yeah, let me give this stuff a whirl. Let me know how it works for you. The limitation right now is it's only DDS files, so it's only the desktop version. So you won't be able to generate. Right now, it won't generate KTX files or anything that you could use on mobile. I will be adding that, but like I said, I want to change it so that mobile uses preferably ASTC format textures in DDS containers. I think that sounds like what would make everyone the happiest, hopefully. So I will figure out how to do that if at all possible, and report back. I also might be adding. There might be like other metadata here, like a JSON file or some little thing beside it to kind of like with info about like how the engine should load the texture, like if it's wrapping or like different features. If you'll notice, like if you dig into the code in the game where it loads textures, there's some hard coded stuff where it basically says like, hey, if we're loading this particular texture, like set these texture settings, like anisotropic filtering or repeating off, whatever. So we need to be able to. What will happen is when you come in here and you select like logo.png, there will be a little set of options here for any maybe like even quality, just like, hey, this texture needs to be lossless, so we want to compress it with, you know, just RGBA instead of ASTC or something like that. So there will probably be some options showing up here, which essentially all it's doing, it will be editing stuff in this workspace.toml. So this is like any metadata for the like workspace stuff is just going to live here. But right now it's literally just that one line that you need. So just in case you missed it the first time, this is the magic to make an asset package. Type equals assets v1. Servers have the oh my gosh, everything's coming so fast. Servers have P2P protocol. P2P protocol, are you referring to like asset downloads? Like what do you mean by P2P protocol? So much cool stuff. Okay, anyway, yeah, let's do demo. Sorry, I'm basically done with my demo, so let's do it. What is happening? This is nightmare material. How? Oh my god. I'm not gonna sleep tonight. That is so cool. And terrifying. Ah! Oh my gosh. If I added this to like the regular game, we'd have to like change the rating. Like, game may induce nightmares. That is super cool, sir. Wow. So yeah, I gotta semi-intelligent crawler units. I love that I have no idea how you did that. I guess we were saying like the four-legged stuff before, but it's like, it's so funny having written the engine. It's like, how did you do that? Oh. So yeah, bravo, sir. That's super cool. Let's see those one more time, very briefly. Ugh. That, oh man, yeah. If there was like a weaponized version of that, I don't know, something where like it would, I don't know, home in on your enemies or something, that could be like a terrifying weapon. So wow, yeah, that is, oh, awesome stuff. Trying to catch up on chat here. So yeah, we gotta do another play session of Overclocked sometime. Oh no, lagging. There's, yeah, spiders in games they can be terrifying. If anyone has anyone done like, there's a VR game, Ricky's Plank Experience, I believe it's called, where basically you go up in an elevator in VR and then like you walk out on a plank like over a city. It's just like super scary. But there's an option where you can like after you walk out on the plank and you're like scared to jump and whatever, you turn around and there's like a giant spider behind you. It's great at terrifying people. Cute crawlers are rating. Oh man, that's got to be like a 9 or something. I mean that they looked pretty darn creepy and effective, and they blow up. Like that's awesome. Or people exaggerate. Oh, you're talking about the VR stuff. I have, if you are, I have seen some people have pretty strong reactions to that, but I'm sure they're very exaggerated for anything going on the internet. Like Bomb Squad is backwards compatible with mods from 1.4 to 1.8. I mean, it would be physically impossible, really, to make something with mods that are compatible with like all mods, just because Bomb Squad 1.4 was Python 2, which itself is a very different, not very different, but you know you can't really support Python 3 and Python 2. You know, the game is being very specific. Like it only supports like the latest version of Python, basically. So it wouldn't be able to run old code. It physically wouldn't be able to run it. Like there's just also Python 2 is like deprecated, and you know most places don't even want you installing it anymore, just because it probably has security vulnerabilities and things at this point. So unfortunately, there can never be like a universal supports all mods version of Bomb Squad or anything like that. I mean, the best we can do, or what I try to do, is just hopefully engineer things so that fewer and fewer mods will break going forwards. So that if someone writes a mod now, hopefully they can keep using that mod as long as possible. But that's, I don't know. That's always it's an interesting like balance, backwards compatibility versus simplicity. It's kind of like you have to lose one to get the other. What is happening? Oh, VR Bomb Squad. Yeah, I still have. I feel like this is an inside joke I'm not privy to. This reminds me, I need to watch more Ice Age movies. I've only seen the first one still. Oh, right. This has been on my mental to-do list, like a long-lived URL for new Bomb Squad releases. I was actually looking at that earlier today. I do need to do that. Yeah, it's awesome that people want to like package stuff for Unix distros. So, yes. All right, let's move on. Let's see. I'm getting behind in. Oh, Ice Age 2? Okay. Yeah, that's... Oh, on that note, everyone go see Inside Out 2 if you haven't. I just went and saw it the other day. It's good to see like a lot of my friends up on the screen again, like in the credits and whatnot. I was very happy that the movie's doing very well. So, I know the morale at Pixar, a lot of people, they had big layoffs recently and things like that, so people weren't the happiest. But so I think this was good that the movie's doing well. So, yay, good job, Pixar. Well, I was sad. I was sad as part of, I think, the Disney merger or something. Like Disney, oh yeah, Disney basically bought a bunch of like Fox stuff. I forgot what happened, but they wound up Blue Sky, the studio that made Ice Age, they wound up shutting down the studio. So that was sad. So I feel like it does seem like it is somewhat hard time for any animation studio. So I don't know. I feel like I'm on team everybody. Like I want anything to succeed. Yeah, that's. I think everyone does. Like when I was back at Pixar, there was frank discussion sometimes about like people there wanted to do original movies, but there was kind of it's the simple truth that sequels tend to make more money. So it's like there had to be a balance of what pays the bills versus what people have fun making. I mean, sequels were fun too. Like one of my favorite movies was Cars 2, which is it's like it's nobody's favorite Pixar movie, and it was kind of a silly sequel, but it was just a lot of like fun action shots and things like that, and it was super fun to work on. Yeah, Cars 2 was kind of a drug trip. It was just like what is going on? Yeah, 2 was the spy one. But it was so much fun, like explosions and like I there's a there's a big action sequence at the beginning on an oil rig, and there's a if you're watching Cars 2, there's like a big spiral explosion, like all these oil barrels go like rolling down this like spiral way, and then like an explosion goes off and like the whole thing just blows up, and I did that. So if you're watching Cars 2 and you see a big spiral explosion, be like, yeah, that's Eric. Yes, there was lots of car death. It was a very it's like Rambo, the body count in that film. Yeah. Oh yeah, torture scenes. I need to. I'm actually curious. Like, I should watch Cars 2 again. I don't think I probably have watched it since we made it. So I'd be curious. There was some Pixar movie. Oh, I watched like Ratatouille, I think, recently for the first time in like 10 years or something. It was like, oh, it hit like a little differently. I mean, in a good way, but it was just like it was. I'd never really seen it fresh, because like working on it, you see bits and pieces of it, and it's like changing all the time, so you don't really get like a fresh take on what it's like. Um, but yeah, so it was interesting to just like see it with kind of fresh eyes. I'd be curious if Cars 2 would have the same, would feel different with fresh eyes also. All right, so we're getting. Should we hop on some Eon? Or anyone else have any demos or topics first? Wanted to chat about any questions about asset packages or anything like that? I'm excited to play some Eon. I hopefully it's working for me. I got everything up and running. I think. Had to wrangle a few. I imagine like what happened is maybe there was a version of 1.7.32 like midway where it's like some stuff was changed but some stuff wasn't. This is probably another reason I need like better versioning system. Just because this tends to happen a lot where like a single version will encompass like 3 months of changes, and I'll just like keep re-releasing that version. So I probably should do something smarter like 1.7.35 beta 10. I don't know. What? Oh, selfie. Oh, this is when I was sick last week. 2 minutes without coffee. What? Oh, two. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's about right. No, man, I've been coffee free for 1 hour and 9 minutes now. So, haha. I mean, I guess tea still sort of counts. I don't know. There we go. Frosty. Sounds like you're all talking about martial arts or something. Like, oh, I am a student of Frosty style. Dang. So part of my plan is with the style stuff. Like at some point, I want to make it just configurable, like JSON values or something. So there's not like a preset version. There's not like a 10 different styles or whatever. It'd be interesting to like see what abuse people did if you can just like it's like a float values you can mess with. Is there like a Blender? Is there any like functional version of like a Bob plugin for Blender at this point, or there was like an old one or something? there, I mean, it shouldn't be too like you all. If anyone is ambitious, I mean, you can poke into the game and see where it loads Bob files, and so see exactly what the format is. Um, I mean, it'd be a little bit of work, but it's not a complicated format. I will probably at some point maybe changing it. If there's more model features coming, I'll probably have to change the format to something with new values or whatever. Um, if I were to make Bomb Squad in 2024, what different tech decisions would you make? That is a good question. I mean, it does like starting a game engine from scratch right now. It doesn't probably make too much sense. But again, I went to GDC Game Developer Conference a few months ago, and someone gave a nice talk about like making a case for making your own engine. They're like, if you're making a simple game, like you can totally do it. They were talking almost more like like a 2D engine or something like that. It is a lot of work making an engine, and right now I feel like this is the right thing for me is like sticking with this like duct tape together Millennium Falcon engine that I built. But yeah, if I were starting today, I would definitely take a long look at Unreal or Unity. Probably more so Unreal in my case. One thing I'm a stickler for is open source. Like I just love being able to fix problems, and so Unreal is open source. If there is a problem that was annoying me enough, I theoretically could go in there and try to fix it. Um, yeah, with Unity, that I don't know. Maybe it would still be worth using Unity, but I feel like that would be a major downside. Is like not knowing what's going on under the hood. It probably would be a lot faster to get up and running and maybe to build something in Unity. It just like I worry a little bit about you know fixing bugs or just bit rot out of my control, stuff like that. Uh, I feel like my philosophy over the past like 10 years has changed a bit to where like I feel like I rely less on third party libraries and things like that for those sort of reasons, because like if I don't really have control of the library, if I can't like see under the hood, things tend to break over time, and then I have to work around them or like rewrite it anyway. Uh, so I tend to, I don't know, for something I know I'm going to be using for the next 10 years, I'll just I like being able to write it myself or at least like see the code. So anyway, that's kind of getting off on a tangent, but yeah, if I were starting today, I would at least probably spend a lot of time looking at like Unreal and things, or Godot. I should have mentioned Godot. Speaking of open source, um, but yeah, like all those, any modern engine is like insanely complex too. So I guess there are downsides there with, if you really want to master it. But there's a lot of upsides too. So I don't know what my final choice would be, but I would definitely take a look at it. Um, but yeah, that being said, I love where I am right now. Like I love, even though a lot of Bomb Squad is really, or Ballistica is very dirty and janky or whatever. I like knowing that I can clean up any part of it or like take it in whatever direction I feel like is best, or whatever. So there are, yeah, like I said, upsides to the do-it-yourselfer route too. Okay. So Tamika, would you use if you were starting a thing today? Like, would you go with Unreal or like what? By Godot being raw, do you think that's bad or like raw good, raw bad, or just like new and unpolished?
Actually, I'm gonna explain, but first I gotta
Okay.
say hi
Hello. Yeah, it's been a while.
because
How you
in
been?
voice is gonna be much easier. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It's getting good. To be a
Okay. So
big
about the
question.
engines, so I use Godot as a hobbyist, right? I do tiny projects for game jams and stuff like that.
Uh huh.
I do use Unreal in my day job.
Yeah,
It's 5 years now. 5 years of game design.
that's
Can you imagine
crazy.
that?
Time flies.
Yeah. I kind of became the engine evangelist at my company. So
Cool.
I'm kind of is that I'm the kind of dude that would approach if you have like any question about the engine itself, like some kind of strange like systems and stuff like that. So Unreal was made by the big studio for big games, right?
Yeah.
Originally, like they make Fortnite and stuff like that. They do all the tech just for that, and they do it. It has been free for years now,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing is, it is a big engine. The binary, I think, is like 1 gig
Yeah.
by itself or two or something like that. And the thing about Unreal is that there's a lot of systems you can safely ignore as an indie,
Okay.
but there's also systems that you should probably learn about, like texture streaming, LODs, scalability. What is even TSR? How do you disable Lumen because it tanks the performance so bad no one wants to play your game?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Stuff like that. Unreal really pushes its new systems to have like the next good looking PS5 game and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Godot is definitely the engine that doesn't do everything for you. It's probably the most vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Like Unity used to be, but people do not use Unity anymore unless they are, they already have projects they gotta finish and stuff.
Yeah.
But Godot is probably the first big kind of engine that's really popping off. I started using it back when 3.0 was released. That was like 6-7 years ago, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. And the engine has evolved so much since then. 2D became more polished, and now they focus hard on 3D. But I'm still using the version 3 for web games because it's still like slowly crawling towards good web exports and stuff. But yeah, I think and physics are not as good. You have to use like Jolt, I believe, if you
Oh
want
yeah.
a replacement.
Okay.
So I can believe Bob Squad in Godot with Jolt would work probably the best if you want to have like a game that runs on basically anything and
Yeah.
still looks probably better than stock Bomb Squad, because I believe Bomb Squad has unshaded like 3D models. It's all textures.
Yeah, it's basically all there's a little. I mean, there's like the reflection. There's a little bit of like slight fake lighting, but it's basically all. Yeah, it's basically just all baked
It's like in
textures.
64 levels or
Yeah,
such or
yeah,
something.
exactly. It's getting any of its looks from the photographs looking decent, but it's not doing any real shading. So, which would be a nice thing to add. Like that'd be a cool upgrade or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it would be faster to just use an engine that already has that kind of stuff too. So
Hell yeah, all right. So that's
um,
definitely my pick. I'll probably stick with Godot in terms of hobby projects.
okay,
Maybe one day it will be amazing for like commercial projects and something like bigger games, because our company, I mean, they learned already Unreal. The Unreal is like it's widespread. You can easily, if you have experience in Unreal, you can basically enter any other studio and have good results and stuff like that. Godot is still like not. I'm not. I wanted to say not proven, but there have been made commercial games made in Godot, and most notably Cruelty Squad.
hmm
And the people that made the console versions of the Pony, I think for PlayStation 4, did actually use Godot instead of the framework, the point and click framework that was used for the PC versions and stuff like that.
yeah,
So yeah, it's proven for small games, but not really big games. Like, I mean, Fortnite, maybe Apex Legends, big multiplayer live service games that everybody is pushing right now.
oh yeah, yeah,
Because that's that's I think is the level studios want to before they can use engines. Even Labyrinth, I believe, was battle tested in live service and stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, Eon.
So oh yeah,
There's
yeah. It's
definitely
getting late. We should.
lots of stuff happening with Eon, and so the server is already made. There's two servers. One there's like 5 people on it,
Uh huh.
but if there's lots of people want to play, actually I'm fine if I join the other server or just watch the stream by itself, so more people get to play.
Okay.
I already talked about Eon before, but I want to touch on subjects that we didn't touch last time because some stuff did change.
Yeah, it's been a while, so yeah.
In the realm of game design and stuff.
Okay.
Oh, the server's almost filled. It's like 6 players now, including me. So better hurry up, Eric.
Oh geez, what's the server called? Let me hop in.
Frankfurt A. There's not many servers, you can find it.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I host 2 VPS servers by myself, paying of my own pocket. But I love the game and I'm really, because here's the thing about the project. It's fun to have a project you're passionate about and that brings you joy.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, because if you're excited about your own project and your own thing, it's like so much easier to work on it.
Oh yeah.
And talk about it. And this is definitely one of the projects where I can just talk about it for you. You know what? I don't know. You wanna play with me, Eric, or should I have a 3v3 with everybody?
Whatever you think.
Okay, so I'm gonna play normally, and I'm just gonna casually talk.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to be.
I'm not gonna focus on like normally. I would be playing the game like super focused, Mountain Dew and Doritos. Just playing and just playing to win. You know, that kind of stuff. I like playing games like that. So we added a couple of new characters this patch.
Mm-hmm.
Reworked KOF. And I have a funny story with KOF actually, and other about the sign of Eon. So, okay, so this server has actually auto balance. So what you have to do is someone on blue first ready, and then red, and that's gonna start the game basically.
Oh, okay.
Because there's like auto balancing in place.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my favorite music on, because that's what I do. Alright. So KOF now works a bit different. It's basically like every other game. Just wait and it captures just like a regular game. Oh. Help me.
Oh no. Sorry.
So funny thing about KOF. The original implementation used the bomb squad implementation, which worked, but it had some serious issues. One issue we definitely noticed is that it was way too easy to have basically throw yourself at the point and just score points, and it was no fun at one point. Like you felt like the only way to win was to just throw yourself at the point and see if you can do it.
Yeah.
And what happened often is that the characters that were dealt the most damage or helped the most were the most powerful. And we didn't want that. We wanted to have variety, tactics, and comms, and stuff like that. So that you could play any character, even if you don't follow you could play 3 supports and still be fine. You know, to give the player feel, because it would be frustrating if you have like one person not have fun because the other side do not play the character that would help them doing stuff. That's an issue that Overwatch had. I wanted to avoid that. So I wanted a rework of KOF. I mean, I just noticed that the issues with the format later on, basically. It took a while before I noticed what was wrong. We wanted to promote tactics. So if we can somehow give people the confidence to get off the point and hopefully flank, to have, better strategy and have some fun plays and stuff, then that's a win for me. So now it works like most games, where basically if one team is in the middle, then they're gonna capture the point. But if there's someone else, the capture is halted. So both teams, if they're both on the point, it won't actually help you win. It actually capture the point in order to get the full benefit of actually getting the points.
Yeah.
And capturing and stuff. Because otherwise, this basically allows you to get off the point and do something else. Do something that would help your team more, maybe.
Yeah.
Do some cool flank, maybe. Try to kill that one person that's really giving a hard time to the team and stuff. So that's what he wanted to solve, and it turns out just one change of game mode rules was enough to give the game like a much needed fun boost. Like the game was like 10 times more fun right now.
Cool.
So characters who are normally like weak now actually could become real threats. Like characters that maybe do not attack immediately are not meant to tank a lot of damage and we're just meant to, you know, maybe plan ahead, maybe set up some stuff so that it's easier to cap or secure kills and stuff. Now it's actually possible. Now there's a healthier variety of characters that can play as. And one thing we noticed definitely at one point when we were working with Leon is that at some point the game had a problem where I did mention that offhanded during the coffee break, but essentially we noticed that at one point what mattered the most was health and damage and mobility, and nothing else mattered. If you could do either lots of damage, lots of health, and escape easily, that would make you the best hero in the game. We obviously wanted to avoid that, not reward any playstyle in particular, and Coffee Report definitely helped. But at one point, I remember we had to like change some fundamentals about how the heroes were designed. So for example, there's this dilemma in most multiplayer games with hero shooters especially, and especially Overwatch, where there were metas that all revolved around, you know, goats and having stacks of tanks, stacks of damages and stuff like that. Like, so if tanks can do better DPS than DPS, then why DPS? That was the main question people were asking about, and we wanted to solve this issue. Now, what we did is basically we still wanted to give the roles. So, for example, yeah, tanks should have more health. Yes, damages should deal more damage, but how big should that difference actually be? And I think not much. For example, earlier we tried to tweak the supports. Like the supports were much better healers than in today's Xeon. In today's Xeon, the healing is very actually shallow in comparison. Like the issue was you were doing so much healing, you're actually better off having any support and not just like a second damage or second tank. So if you made them less healy and give them more damage, so it's like a bit like the damage dealers but a bit lower, let's say, then that would make the character like still fit in the role, but not so much that it's like necessary to have them in your team. So you can just play anybody and have a good time, have a good chance of winning. Because otherwise, like, you're taking away choices from the players. And that, I think, is the fun killer. Like, you want to play this guy, but this guy is so much better, so I gotta play that. Or, oh, this guy is playing this guy, so I gotta play that other guy, and not the one I love playing. So now I think it's a much better variety. Like, so yeah, supports heal less and give less severe buffs. Damages are basically without changes. Tanks still have no health, but not so much more health that it becomes like unreasonable.
Yeah.
So now you can play like any comp and have a good success with it. And that wasn't easy. Like, I wanted to have like characters that were super like different from each other, right? That's the main point of a hero shooter. Have these super different heroes play with each other and have some cool like counterplays and strategies and abilities mingling with each other and cool plays and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think we can approach this from the right angle, because now I believe like I can play most of the heroes and have a good time and have a chance of winning. That's the main issue, because earlier builds of Eon have this feeling, and I use the word hopeless a lot, which meant I respawn freshly after a team wipe, and I cannot do anything. I feel like I cannot approach the game or the battle in any way, shape or form. Like, I just would be totally defeated. And it turns out it was because of those like high heal, high health, high damage, high mobility requirements. Now you can actually do anything, like as long as you play your cards right. Because here's the thing: objectives keep the roster balanced. Like, I'm speedy, I do a lot of damage, I shoot far, and there's this other character that can only punch. Like the range character can just shoot the melee guy, right?
Mhm.
Except the melee guy, I mean, the only requirement is not to kill everybody, but it's to get the point, right? So the ranged guy has to actually get close to shoot, and the melee guy can just stand on the point and tank all the damage. So now it's on the ranged guy to actually do something. And that was another great kill. Yeah, this is a new mode added in this update. It's called Survival. It was something that I had in mind for quite a while, but this was probably the first time where I gave this concept a shot, and it was actually really fun and unique. Of course, it's very serious, like every kill matters. There's like high stakes, it's intense, which is a different vibe from KOF. But I think we need different modes and that send different emotions. The thing about the survival maps is that this is actually dev textures for now, so there's no art. The art is in progress.
Oh, okay.
But we plan for the survival maps to be like different from KOF maps. Like KOF maps would be like these fantasy locations, like bazaars or like caverns or like mines or sanctuaries or temples. But for survival, we wanted to have like evil locations, you know, with like infestation of mushrooms or some kind of dank cave, which like the Deadlie or something.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So probably have unique music once we get around to making our original soundtrack. Because for now we have stock music. We have like placeholder music. We plan to change it at one point.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so right now it's like 1v1 me and Gabi. So I'm gonna chill out for a bit.
Oh yeah. Focus.
Appreciate the atmosphere too.
Yeah.
I love making sound for the. Oh, did he give up? Come on. All right.
What? Aw.
Yeah, he didn't want to fight. Yeah. Oh, that was a good hook. I'm gonna. Yeah, some characters are great from afar, some are great from close range. I think we have a good balance of where weaknesses aren't crippling, but this is something the players basically have to see for themselves and send feedback if it's necessary and stuff. So another stuff we wanted to talk about is that even hero design was changed at one point. Like earlier, heroes are kind of designed as a free-for-all. Like we just made heroes that looked fun. I think Sok has a design principle of come up with a character first, and then abilities second. While I do the other way around. Like I make mechanics first, and then the character.
Oh,
And
interesting.
they definitely gave us unique characters. Like most characters you see in the game are actually Soks. In terms of art, in terms of gameplay. I think the only character that isn't his is Maika, which is the mushroom girl, which is my main, and I'm kinda biased. That character also has a unique history of its own, but I'm gonna leave it for now. But essentially, after that character went up, I just realized I actually like making characters, and we can do something unique and fun when we do like different takes on different characters. Like we can pick a playstyle maybe, or some fantasy we wanted to sell, and I can just push that kind of fantasy hard. That's how I design Maika and future heroes that haven't been released yet. And I'm gonna do a little teaser for the 2 new heroes. Oh, watch out, Derek. Yeah, they are very.
Oops.
Oh, he just blocked my freeze. Okay, I'm done. So we noticed with the current cast is that Eon is an easy game by itself, but the complexity comes from the different characters and their abilities and their interactions and stuff. And we often gave the game to new people, to new playtesters who haven't touched the game. And often the first roadblock was the characters, they did too much, or they were hard to grasp the concept of the game by itself. Like you have to handle the game mode, and then you have to handle the character, and then you have to handle the game feel. And sometimes it's just too much. Like some characters are easier than others, but in most characters, even the easiest ones, had some kind of quirk that made them unique, right?
Yeah.
So we wanted to have characters that were like super easy. Like I could just tell people, hey, check out Eon, that's a cool game. Maybe you can play, and then I can just give them the character and they would just get the game like immediately.
Yeah.
So we were making 2 new characters. One is a damage and one is a support, because we were missing those. And I cannot spoil the characters yet because they are planned for the future path. But I'm really super proud with how they came. One of them is actually mine, so that's another fun thing I can brag about. Because when it comes to characters, I'm very picky about characters. Like, it's hard for me to pick characters I'm happy with, but when I do, I just love characters. Oh, Era, that's a great heal. Don't come closer. We're gonna punch him. Whoa, punch him! No. Oh, okay, so the mushroom girl is actually Mike. And she just blew it yourself. Uh-oh. I have more health. I can take it. I can just... you have to go closer to me at one point. No. And I did it.
Nice.
Okay, so this character is simple, for example. He has simple abilities, like he has a punch, a jump, a hook, and a T that heals him and gives him the basic. That's it. So despite his simple skill set, he can still be very hard to play. Like, if you have a horrible character matchup, he's extremely hard to land hits on. And sometimes it feels like he cannot do anything. So even though this character has a simple skill set, is still considered an intermediate character, which is the added difficulty rating to BIOS. You have 3 stars, and the more stars it has, the harder the character is, which basically means how easy it is to get into.
Oh, gotcha.
Like 1-star character is like easy, like you can pick it up and probably understand them almost immediately. And difficulty 3 is like they have lots of mechanics, lots of stuff to consider and stuff. So that's the main issue. And we didn't have a lot of 1-star characters, so that's what we wanted to fill with the new 2 characters. One is the damage, is the support, and we decided that what makes a character hard or simple, like it's actually kind of simple. It's actually not just the abilities that they do, but also how understandable they are at first glance. Like, okay, he has simple abilities, sure, but also they have multiple applications or they are hard to apply. Like, Orpa Punch is slow and you have to get close. Hook has a long cooldown and you have to aim it. It doesn't deal immediate damage, like lots of immediate damage. Peek has a long cooldown and you can do it very poorly. So yeah, Oaken has simple abilities, but not as simple of a gameplay as it could be. So for example, look, I hooked you. So now, if I landed my punch, I would be rewarded, but I missed. So now, I could have done much better as Hook if I had landed my punch. So we wanted to avoid those kinds of situations with simple characters. Like, you join the character, and you immediately know what they're all about. You can just like start playing immediately without reading on the intricacies. Like, one character, like most abilities can be boiled down to like what they do and how many situations you can apply them with. And some are very simple, like a dash. You know what a dash is. Like, it moves you forward or upwards or something like that. So there are simple abilities to understand, but they give lots of complexity. And then there's some abilities like, for example, Sock's character, he has this ring around him, right?
Yeah.
He has a mechanic where he can switch between 2 modes, speed and heal. And he also has a horn that buffs that ring, so it's stronger, but also applies to himself. So yeah, that's a complex ability.
Yeah.
But he's simple to play, so that's like the opposite of Oaken. So that's 2 ways we have to avoid. So easy characters. So after a while, when we brainstorm about what makes easy characters, we boil down to simple abilities, understandable abilities, that's important. Abilities with like a low gameplay possibility, which means you cannot do much with those abilities. Like, they have one purpose or an easy to understand purpose. Yeah, they have to be understandable, that's for sure. Low cooldowns, so probably 8 seconds or less. So even if you miss them and they're weak, you don't feel punished if you miss them. Like, you can just wait a bit and try again. It isn't punishing if you miss. And that's basically it. And we have 2 of those characters coming up. And I can't wait to share them. Maybe if Sok agrees, I can share some teasers about the characters, because I was I was having so much fun making one of them. So cool. Do you think I should share the concept art for one of the new heroes? All right. So I drew this character. I had this character. I came up with the idea. I'm gonna explain it later, maybe. So first, maybe the concept. Actually, before I introduce the concept, so one of my friends loves character action games. Devil May Cry, God Hand, those Capcom games, where there's these cool dudes that have an attitude in those silly worlds with campy premises. You have to destroy some big robot or defeat some kind of asshole dude or something.
Yeah.
And you have these awesome powers, you roundhouse kick people and stuff. So I wanted to take one of those games and I wanted to port the feeling of playing that game into Eon. And that was a great game design challenge because I love coming up with concepts like feelings and experiences and putting them into game design form. That's how I roll with it. So the dude described the game, we were talking about it. He was very descriptive about it, and I watched the game. I didn't even play the game, I just watched him play it. I watched reviews about the game, and by osmosis, I believe, created a character that somehow the dude said, yeah, that's spot on. That's exactly what this game feels like. And I'm super proud of that.
Nice.
So I came up, so the game is about, the God Hand is mostly a fighter with tank controls almost. It's like behind the back, behind the shoulder. It's mostly grounded moves. You don't do mostly jungles. You do like crowd control, you do hard hitting moves and stuff like that. And I wanted to port that. So I wanted to have a character where you basically you stand still when you attack, and then you dodge with like a separate button, and you have other moves that are crowd control-y, stuff like that. So I wanted to combine this gameplay. I was thinking, yeah, I should probably have a character that embodies these games, right? So I came up with a character that's edgy. That's like, I can imagine making this character making wisecracks and stuff like that, but also combine it with my own vibe of rabbit characters and edgy stuff that's looking cute and cool, basically. And have this kind of attitude towards them. I drew the... Okay, I'm gonna leave, so I'm not gonna... I'm too excited to talk about it, basically. So yeah, so I draw the character, I make the design, talk about it with the friends, try out the dashes, and turns out the concept is not only easy to understand, but it actually boils down Eon to like the most basics elements. Like if you pick up the character, like you can do some cool stuff with him. It's complex, yes, but his hit is super simple. Like you have a punch that's ranged and you stand still when you do it. You have a backdash, which is like spammable. You have a kick that knocks people away and deals damage. That's 12 seconds. And you have a dash that also allows you to touch people and deal damage as well. So that's 8 seconds. So very simple. Like there's nothing else to it. There's no complex mechanics. The most complex mechanic is basically punching and makes you stand still, and that's it. So I came up with the design, then came up with the character, and then I started making the backstory for it, because at one point we wanted to have like an extended world, basically, like for the characters and stuff. And at one point, I don't know what happened, but I got super excited. I used one of those character sheets for writing and stuff. I just filled out the important bits, and boom, there it is. So I'm just gonna share the concept. I'm not gonna talk about the story because, man, there's lots of stuff to talk about and I don't want to bore people. So I'm just gonna put on the character and just let me know what you think. Of course, this is the 2D version, the vector version. The Eon version is slightly different, but yeah, this is the original concept I made. Here it is.
Cool.
So you have this like cool hair, dyed hair, the eyeliner, the sci-fi, almost sci-fi gadgets. This kind of character that would definitely be an edgy kid is the best way to explain it.
Very cool. Very cool.
I had lots of fun making this one. So I cannot really show how it all looks in game, but you saw so that's the concept, that's the spoiler. For the second character, I'm not gonna talk a lot about it because there's probably gonna be a time for a more in-depth teaser, maybe a full reveal, maybe some gameplay abilities, and that Sox character. So the one, this guy that I'm currently talking about, this is probably the second character I made for Euram, besides Mecha. So I'm really excited for this one. I hope people will have lots of fun playing him. He definitely stands out from the crowd, not just in gameplay, but also in the design itself. Like, come on. Oh yeah, I already talked about stuff. Yeah, so I might as well join. Who should I play as? Yeah, let's give Trigger a try. Okay, this is the second one from Survival. You wouldn't have to get Survival on this side here, so you are very lucky. Now, I got stumped. Oh, that was...
Ooh. Oh man.
Yeah, this guy has an explosive jump and uses lots of damage. Now, actually, we are focusing with Eon on other aspects. Like, the design is very spot on right now. Like, the feel is nice. There's some polish that I like. He doesn't have really an opportunity to do that now there's lots of stuff you can tweak and improve on. The cool thing about Scarhood is the dashes actually give him invincibility, so you can do cool stuff like you see a bomb that's about to explode in your face, you can dash and basically receive no damage.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, these dashes, and he has two of them. One is the back dash and one is the one in front.
Oh, okay. They both do the invincible thing?
Yeah,
Nice.
they're fantastic. Yeah, let's kill him. He's almost dead. He's... Oh no, I missed. I messed up. I think I slid on their heads or something like that. Oh yeah, we also noticed when we're making these new characters that, I mean, I knew it from the start, but this is probably the first time we have it in real form, basically. Like, characters can be fun or not fun to play, and sometimes it's not about the looks or the heals. Sometimes it's just the code, about the code, like what's happening behind the scenes, like how the character feels to play. And often we have like annoying issues, like you would get stomped and the character would just stop doing things. You still hold the button and the character does nothing. So we wanna try fixing these things at one point for sure. So hopefully this is gonna be a thing of the past and the game will feel super professional and polished. That's one thing I hope for. Well, that wasn't done. Oh yeah, that's a stop. Cannot do anything. So the balance is still not there yet, but it's super close now, and we learn new things pretty much every day. Oh, one thing about Eon actually. When patch 1.2 I think rolled around, there was an issue with frustration. Like, it was super easy to join the game and have a terrible time. Maybe something happened, like that would make you mad or stuff like that. And we managed to fix this issue. It was basically like a lack of control, a lack of agency. Characters that had like strong weaknesses, but we talked about that with the coffee work when I was talking about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but what I can though say is that some of these things are not as obvious, and it took us a bit of a while to nail down what exactly it is. But if there's one thing that I think some multiplayer games can learn from is make the game and make sure that you can do most things right off the bat. Like there's games that had stun mechanics, freeze mechanics, and crowd control mechanics. The Valkyrie does definitely have them. That was something we wanted to keep under control, so that the game still feels doable. At one point, we had real bomb squad stuns, like from the bomb squad, like you get punched, you get stunned, right? This character, this Fion actually doesn't have that stun. It's something else. Like you sometimes see stars above some people's heads. That's a stun. And this stun is different. It's actually a silence. In other MOBAs, it's a silence. And silence is more interesting because the stun basically takes away control, and silence does this in a more tasteful manner, I should say. Like stun, it takes away everything about you. It takes away your movement, it takes away basically everything.
Yeah.
But silence only takes away your attacks, your abilities.
Okay.
So even though you are stunned, you can still move around and it doesn't feel as bad.
Yeah, that's a
And
good
it's
point.
still meaningful. It's still meaningful because it stops abilities or stops them from executing. And we can balance some moves around that. Like for example, some moves require the character to charge up a move, or maybe they have like a short wind up, and you can stop them from doing that if you can stun them. So that was another tool we could give to the characters to give counterplay. And not make us feel awful for giving a character a stun. Because previously a stun was super like important, and it was always worth it to have a character that could do stun. But now you don't need it. Your other characters can do for example more damage. Maybe they can do knockback. Even knockback is not as common in Neon actually. So this is something. Oh, don't come to me. I have a turret.
Whoops.
Yeah, but that was really risky of me. I should probably do that often. So that was something we wanted to fix. Like have characters not be frustrating. And frustration comes in many forms. Like often if we think it as a challenge, for example, some of the new heroes, both heroes are all about knockback. Like knockback is in their blood. So it's kind of a fun challenge to come up with a character that can do knockback but doesn't feel frustrating and actually feels fun. So that was something we had to fight for. Early iterations of the new character were kind of disastrous. Like it was fun to play, but it was frustrating to fight against. So the main issue was basically we had this character has a move that knocks people back and it's spammable. But the issue was melee characters like Gregor, Oken, people that didn't have ways to deal with threats at a distance. They have to get close, right? They had to get close to that character and they can just push them away, which is frustrating, right? So what we did was we set up a 1v1. I used one of those tanks and we just spent a couple of minutes or matches just doing a 1v1. The problem character versus the new character. And wow, that was a nice freeze. Good one. And how we we actually fixed it with we actually discovered a nasty bug.
Oh no.
Which is funny. So we have this thing in the game called knockback resistance, right?
Uh-huh.
The thing is you have big characters, right? They can basically get knocked back way less. For example, they're heavy or they're tanks. That was another lever we could pull. And it was a lever we could pull, except it didn't work with the initial implementation of the ability, and we only figured that out when I played with the tank against the hero. It was something that the tank should be good at, not being thrown back and stuff. But he didn't have that, so we had to add that in because that was like a mistake in the code. So I'm glad we caught that early, because I was actually close to calling this character like a bad idea from the start, because it was like very aggressive about its design, right? It was like aggressively annoying. So I can definitely imagine my excitement and of course interest when an issue is solved in the most roundabout way possible, because that's what happened.
Funny how that works with bugs sometimes. Just like, oh my gosh. Or like you.
Yeah, these bugs keep coming and from unexpected places, and I learned that also in my day job.
Yeah.
And Eon is no different. Eon is probably more because this is like a PvP game, multiplayer design. This is like a different type of player interaction and design philosophy, which is not something you do for single player games.
Yeah.
Oh, another one. You know what? Actually, let's return to lobby. So it gives us cough. Just pause and click return to lobby. That's all, so that we can go back to lobby. This is a feature we added. You know, just for issues for stuff like this. Maybe the game breaks. Maybe, yeah, like that.
Okay.
One more person and we go back to lobby.
Oh,
Here it
nice,
is.
nice. That's cool.
Yeah. There's also a timeout feature. If you play with friends and you want to pause the game and it's an online game, you cannot pause. But you can basically vote for a temporary freeze.
Oh,
Which is
that's
like
cool.
Almost a minute by default, I believe. Something like that.
Yeah, that would be useful.
Yeah, maybe not useful for bomb squad because it's very jump in and play. For Eon, we definitely go away from, get away from the have a playlist with multiple games and just have one game and one big session, one big game.
Yeah.
Kind of like other MOBAs. So you probably noticed that like it ends on the session completed, session with victory screen right away. It doesn't go into the mid-game victory screen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we definitely want to do more stuff for Eon, probably turn it into a bigger project, more official project. But yeah, this is definitely one thing where we're kind of at the mercy of your changes and implementations. Like we want a custom icon, we want like fun,
Yeah, well,
fun mechanics and procedural animations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Better netcode.
I mean, I'm hoping to, hopefully for the custom icon and the Android version, things like that. Some of the stuff I was showing today. Hopefully, it's, that means it's getting closer to that.
Yeah, one limitation we got, for example, is that the bomb squad doesn't really have a command for removing all velocity from the character. You cannot set it directly, but you can get rid of player velocity by using the stand command, right? What stand is a teleport, right? But it does kill velocity. So we use that if you want to stall the character immediately.
Yeah.
But it moves the character up a bit, so you have to move down a bit to compensate.
Oh,
and even
interesting.
then, it's not perfect. Because if you're next to a floor or a wall, for example, and you execute it perfectly, then you can basically clip the wall.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's one bug
Yeah.
we cannot actually fix. We have to wait for official implementations of the
Yeah.
teleport and stuff like that.
Well, it is with 1.8 coming up reasonably soon, it could be an opportunity to get a few changes in there because we're going to have to basically make the protocol backwards incompatible because asset downloads and stuff, older clients won't be able to connect to 1.8 servers. So it could be an opportunity to slip a few physics fixes in there or something,
Yeah.
I apologize, I've been like heads down on the asset package stuff, but before 1.8 goes out the door, it'd be great to have a little powwow or something just to see if there's some.
What you showed is definitely what people have been asking for. So I'm confident this is gonna result in some fun. In the future releases, for example, sound packs or maybe skin replacements for online multiplayer, like maybe bring back some OG.
Oh yeah, some of the old icons people like. Yeah, I think it'll be. I'm excited to see what people do with it. I know what I showed today is very like version 1.0, barely working sort of. It's the worst version that will ever exist of it, but it'll get a lot better.
And textures only, apparently.
Yeah, textures only right now. I just wanted to get like something out the door that I could show, So I cut some corners and tried to get like a minimum viable product for getting that up and running for today.
Yeah.
But a lot of the adding the other parts will be pretty easy. It's kind of like getting the first version out the door and working is the hard part, but then it's like adding to it is a lot easier.
Oh, that's definitely it.
Yeah.
Like for you, definitely most of the issues are basically how do you use Ballista in a commercial project.
Yeah, and I love it. I love that you guys are, kind of a test project for that. I'd love to. Please always tell me if there's anything that I should focus more on. And I know like getting Android in the public repo is a big thing and stuff like that right now. But any friction points you guys are hitting, I'd love to know.
Actually, I remember talking about stock about why we don't just use Godot or something. Actually, I remember making a fan game with Godot
Uh-huh.
with stock. Actually, the project didn't last long. It was about 2 or 3 weeks, I believe. And one reason I believe he told me is that Ballistica is just so much easier to set up for like the type of games he wanted to make. So I think it's perfectly like explained in the GitHub repo.
Uh-huh.
It basically says it's for games that are single camera, jump in and play, 8 players,
Yeah.
any controller, like 4 buttons, 1 stick, easy online. Like everything has been already taken care of. Like all you need is just the game mechanics.
Yeah.
So like with Godot, you have to set up like a character controller yourself. You have to set up. Unreal does give you a character controller, but you probably want your own additions anyway and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But Ballistica already offers that, and it's simple and it's very stuff like that. There's still limitations,
Yeah.
but you can definitely make a game with it. Like you could make Overcooked easy. A dungeon crawler like Isaac, sure, that's what you can make. Of course, if you want to make a hacky cinematic platformer, for example, maybe it will be janky, but you could.
Yeah, you've bent it in some interesting ways, so it's kind of like eye-opening to me, like what it can be bent to do. But
I mean, I did
yeah.
make a 2D platform with HubSpot, and
Yeah.
that had its own issues.
Yeah,
I
of
had
course.
to make I had to make screen scrolling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that is janky still. There were
Yeah.
some bugs that I couldn't fix or didn't want to fix in like 2 weeks because this was a 2-week project.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't want to spend any more time in it.
yeah,
It's like a game jam almost.
yeah. I like that kind of thing, game jam type stuff. But yeah, I kind of like having that as a goal, like not trying to do everything. Like like
Yeah,
Godot and those
definitely.
engines, like they are trying to be everything to everyone, which is a great goal and whatever. But it's like that's a lot. Like
We
I'm
were
trying to make
already
one
have,
type of game, and hopefully other people can
we
use
already
that.
have like 30 engines that do this to try to be general purpose and stuff.
Yeah.
We have GZ Doom, which is for like first-person shooters that are Doom style and stuff. But even then, you can make. Sulaco just came out, and that game is like super unrecognizable.
Yeah, it is really interesting when people like take something and do something completely unexpected with it, or like something that doesn't look like.
Specific engines for specific niches. Like we have some engines for point and clicks and stuff. Maybe a platformer or two, but definitely not for physics-based party games. See, that's so simple yet. Like everyone tries to make a game like that at some point. Like 4-player party games. That's kind of a whole genre. We have like Boomerang Fu, we have Boomerang, we have. I mean, Nidhogg is not that kind of game, but Gang Beasts.
Yeah.
Some other niche games.
Yeah.
Like what is it called? Headhunters. There was one called Towerfall Ascension. It's not physics, but it is.
Oh yeah, I know Towerfall very well.
It is party stuff.
There's
But
another-
it is kind of a whole genre. So having an engine like this where you can just cook up something easy would be fantastic. You could make a marble game with this.
Yeah.
What is it marble game? Think about it. and I just feel good with it. I just do it. I think you get the hang of this game. I think definitely understand the character more.
Oh yeah, I'm slowly learning. My scores are still terrible and stuff, and I feel like I'm half listening and talking and not playing very well, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is fun to like you slowly start to wrap your head around the character, like the mechanics or the like how to play.
So the primary just shoots. The bottom one actually stuns.
Okay.
So you can use that to interrupt abilities. The right is of course a freeze, which is a time, and I don't have to explain the top one.
Yeah.
The top one is basically a speed. So
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah.
can definitely see some fun combos you can do. One
Yeah.
combo that is nasty and people will hate it for if you do it is set up a freeze, then use boost and time the boost so that you stop the character immediately as you freeze. But to make sure they cannot do it, you do the barrage of ice, so that they get stunned, they cannot insta stun and interrupt your freeze and stuff like that.
Oh my
So
gosh.
you use both the abilities, but you guarantee a freeze,
Yeah.
and they cannot escape it. So it is nasty. If you want to, if you want something that's mildly annoying, you can try that. Okay, I'm gonna be a bit more. And I got flung into the to the hole. Yeah, one thing you can try is basically stay away from this guy. And get some high ground, shoot at the person. You can deal loads of damage.
Oh, jeez.
Watch out.
Gave up my high ground. Obi-Wan would not be proud.
Watch out.
Oh, there's. Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
Yeah, he did that. He did that move. Yes, kill me. No. He's low now. Ouch. Not doing good. So yeah, so Thor can basically focus on making the game and not think about net play or synchronization or server authority. You know, the boring stuff.
Yeah.
Just make a game. Even Godot or Unreal, you have to kind of set it up yourself. Unreal already does it. So
Yeah.
imagine if you could just add a variable in C, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would just automatically it would just work. Like by itself, no setup required. Or
Yeah.
Same thing.
That's what I'm hoping to like. I am thinking about architecture stuff, like for like Scene V, some one of the upcoming Scene versions. Like, how can we make that closer to what you're saying? We're just like, I want to add a variable. I don't want to have to think about synchronizing it. And
Yeah, because if it would be this simple, this engine would be the engine to make a party game. Because right now most of the limitations is basically I don't want to do it because the net play isn't perfect. It's like delay based.
yeah,
And not only delay based, you need to have study, no study internet whatsoever. For example, I recently upgraded. I thought I had a good net in my neighborhood, consistent. Turns out, even just a tiny slip up means I get kicked.
oh yeah, that sucks.
Now my net is so consistent, even though it's not the fastest, that I can play and not get kicked once, most of the time. And it's not because it's my own VPS server, it's in Frankfurt. I joined from a different country, so it doesn't matter. Like as long as the ping is low and the connection is not spotty, I can play, and it feels great.
Yeah,
But yeah, it would be fun if you could join our server and it wouldn't be as frustrating. Like you have the lag and stuff. It's probably not the most, fun way to play Eon and stuff like that.
well, I have to say it's better than like Vanilla Bomb Squad being a little bit more actiony, twitchy. Like the lag is not that annoying in Eon.
Yeah,
so.
actually we noticed that at one point because Eon is more of a position-based tactics game almost.
Yeah.
And not all characters are twitchy. Some characters are like very non-twitchy. For example, Micah. Micah is all positioning. Like you can play with a laggy connection and you can probably do fine. Like what does she have? She has like turret placement, maybe teleportation. Maybe there's one ability where it makes her freeze in place and heal. But that's AOE. You don't have to aim it.
Yeah.
So that's a character where there's no twitch skills required.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the only reaction stuff is like teleporting away in time so you don't get cooked, and that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, I know I'm always saying like, oh, I'll get client prediction or whatever. Like one of these days, I have taken some passes on trying to improve the netcode. I think like a year ago or something.
Yeah.
Tried to get it more.
I remember the first implementation being kind of terrible, but then it stabilized in like a week.
Yeah, there have been improvements. There's still like a major revamp is totally due in terms of. I know I've talked about like motion streaming or adding client prediction on top of that. So like different ideas, but in the meantime, there's probably some things like checking the timeouts or something. Like if you lag out quickly, like maybe the game's being too aggressive there or something. Maybe that can be improved.
Yeah, definitely.
Like if you just get one lag spike and it winds up kicking you out of the game, like that's not good.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, to answer the question of the person, why do we do not solve detection? Because this is actually inverted flow method, and it's the only way we can do cell shaded look. Actually, not cell shaded, but options. Because what Ballistica, even though it does shaders and does post processing, you don't have access to it. This is something that this would definitely help.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, you could hack around in the C++ layer if you want to write your own. It's just it would be a little ugly.
Yeah, the best thing about inverted flow is that it's pretty much the only quirk it requires is backface falling, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, you can do anything.
There's a comment there about ray tracing. I know I've mentioned this before, but I would love to like take 2 months and just like write a ray tracing renderer. You know, just like that would be such a fun project. It would only apply to a small fraction of the user base, but it would still be cool just to get subtle reflections and shadows and this and that going on.
Yeah, we have reshade, but even that is like limited by comparison.
Yeah. But I keep having to tell myself that like, even though the graphics are simplistic and they could be a lot better, I feel like that's not, shouldn't be at the top of my priority list right now. I'm trying to make myself focus on all the stuff on the 2.0 list, just like getting to that point.
Come on, hit me. Okay, this character has a quirk, which is the first of its kind. If you are low on health and you teleport, they show you health, and you die from that health, you explode. So you can imagine doing some like funny and crazy plays with that.
Oh yeah.
Like, you kind of have to respect the character at one point.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because otherwise you just get cooked. Come on, you're gonna survive. I have the heals. I have tactics. You have nothing. Yeah. It's ours. Hell yeah. Great job, guy. Okay, this skin that I'm playing right now, Sok said he could add one expensive skin. That is new models, some fancy stuff. And he did. It even features my favorite music, but we'll probably replace it once the game releases.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like that character. That's a cool style. Just like real simplistic.
Yeah, it is. I do have a concept of that too. Maybe I can post it on the chat as well.
Cool.
So the original idea is that the mushroom cap is actually a beanie, which is probably which I really love. I love the beanie. So why isn't the game on the Play Store? Copyrighted. That's pretty much it. And the game is not ours, it's on a different engine. Oh, I wanted to blow up, but instead teleported into the mist. Fun. So yeah, if the game has to become like official, there's still a way to go. This game is still kind of a passion project.
Yeah.
There's still stuff to be done with it. The engine is still not done. That's basically it.
Well, I'll keep working towards stuff like getting it possible to build full Android builds, and so if you ever get it to the point where you want to release it on the store or something, hopefully you have full autonomy there.
Oh, he died. My favorite person.
I remember for me, like originally releasing, Bomb Squad 1.0, it took me a while to pull out all the copyrighted stuff and make it like store friendly. So there was a bit of, I would say like that last 10% of polish is 50% of the work or whatever.
Some copyrighted stuff is obvious, but some is not so obvious, and it's kind of our job to keep track of all of this.
Yeah.
Or if not sure, then just replace it outright.
Oh yeah.
But it's fun to use like game songs, like they're cool, so why not use them?
Oh yeah, yeah, especially if it's a for fun project. Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely a fun project, even though I take it as seriously as any other like game.
Yeah.
Like I take game design seriously. That's my passion. That's kind of the reason why I didn't give up on the project, because I just loved it. I just love it. I see the potential of it.
Yeah.
To make like an actual like maybe even the best MOBA ever. Because I see the potential actually. Like I'm playing right now, talking to you. At no point did I feel frustrated. Not at all. It's just a fun casual game, at least for me.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing, like casual stuff that's casual and fun while still having a skill curve and things like that. Like
Yeah,
I
one
think
thing
that's
one thing I really hated about MOBAs in the current climate is that almost all of them try to target the competitive scene. You know, it's serious, it's fantasy, play to win,
yeah,
you know, stuff like that. Esports,
yeah,
Dota is like that. Heroes of the Storm marketed like this, even though in game it's like a vastly different story.
yeah,
Awesome Nuts is more chill than usual, more chill than most of the MOBAs, but still has that serious vibe at times. Like you have characters taunting each other. The music is like hardcore, like electronic music,
yeah,
stuff like that. So it's still like not as casual as it could be. So I think that's part of what I wanna feel here. So even the music might come to this. Like I plan for it to be like I have a couple of ideas what kind of genres I would take, but it would definitely be more like down tempo and stuff like that. So you would probably vaporwave, hip hop, lo-fi. Styles like so you know have this kind of game where you can basically zone out to it.
yeah.
Because this is a simple game, simple abilities. There's no item shot. There's no lane pushing.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that kind of game these days. I mean, I've never been a huge competitive gamer, but yeah, just something where I can hop on, play casually, enjoy it, get a little competitive, but not have to be like super hardcore.
Games like that are definitely missing in today's gaming. Like I remember playing like arena shooters, and even though this is like super casual and stuff, it's still hard for people to get into this because it always feels like you're like stuck at the game and can compete otherwise.
Yeah, you almost feel like you're letting down your team by being new. You know, it's just like, sorry guys, I'll stop playing.
It's free for all this stuff.
Yeah,
Like if you do not get kills, you don't get to play.
yeah,
You get like you play like Quake 3 or Quake Live, Quake Champions, you know, or even like other arena shooters like maybe Red Eclipse maybe, or something like less obscure. It's still gonna be an issue. Like, you cannot really fight it. This is just the reality of
yeah, just
arena
nature.
shooters. So this is definitely a gap we can fill. Like, how do you make an arena shooter where it's actually casual oriented? Like, you can be at any skill level and still have fun and have a chance of winning.
Yeah,
I think we kind of had this in games like this. We have like there's this one spin-off, Rayman Arena, which is basically that an arena shooter, which is like third person. You have like random power-ups. It's still not like fantastic, as in you know it's not competitive or anything, but it's not balanced either. Like you can still stomp if you know that spawns are and stuff like that. Classic arena shooter stuff.
yeah,
Well, I can definitely imagine a game designed for like casual users, where if you're at the bottom, maybe you get like maybe the game slowly helps you, like maybe the cool weapons spawn more likely for you, like Mario Kart style,
yeah,
or maybe have the roleplay that's suddenly there, you know, stuff like that. Kind of gaslight people into thinking they
but
get
they're good.
like
Yeah,
because game psychology is actually like super fascinating. And game design is part of the reason why I'm still doing this, because games are like so unique.
yeah.
Neon is unique. Neon is beautiful and I wanna see it grow.
Yeah, well, that's like I said, I feel like it's hard to have that, or you know, hard to capture that feeling of having something that you just want to work on because of passion or whatever. You know, it's like even if you're doing it as a job, sometimes just the fact that it's a job sometimes makes it feel less fun or whatever. So I think it's great that you know you're doing it because it's like a hobby, because it's something you want to have be better because you have a vision for it. You know, like that is.
Definitely. Like even at work, I tell my bosses what I'm comfortable with. If I'm getting sick of something, they can just give me something else to work on.
Yeah.
That's the power of working in a indie project. You're not like a dedicated sound guy. You can just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm kind of privileged.
Yeah, it is. I'm thankful to be in kind of similar position where if something's getting annoying, I can work on some other part that's fun for a while or whatever.
Yeah. I can just work on some bad mobile game or a console port I don't care about.
Yeah.
Work on original projects, and that's fun for me.
Yeah.
And that's a victory for us.
Woo!
That was a cool game. Like there was some cool interactions of both ways. You probably saw like what we were doing and stuff. If you were like following one person, maybe you saw some cool stuff they were doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It's fun to watch.
It can get cramped actually, if there's like 4 people. But 3v3, it's kind of doable. It's kind of a spectator sport.
Yeah, regular Bomb Squad feels that same way. Sometimes 4v4 starts to feel like there's a lot on the screen. Sometimes 3v3 feels more ideal, or even 2v2.
Yeah, the only thing the game needs is if you wanted a competitive mode where you could basically implement the in-game pick and ban phases.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That would work definitely.
yeah. That would be an improvement.
Oh, I didn't play Scarwood yet. I might as well like showcase how nightmarish it can be.
Oh, cool. All right, well, I'll watch this. We're like way over time already, but I'm gonna watch this
Yeah.
round. I want to see a good Scarhead, and then
Yeah, that's one.
and then I'll wrap up after that.
So that this game, let's make this game legendary.
All right, let's do it.
He missed the hook. He missed, and I'm gonna poke him. Go back. Okay, he's healing. I'm gonna get the Teddy. Oh, backing up. Oh, okay, slow. He's busy. Okay. Point is ours, but the other Scarfoot is like standing still. Doesn't help. That's kind of bad. Maybe I should kick him. One sec. Oh, okay, he's dead. Okay. So let's have a hump. Okay, because here's the thing. This game has like a scalability system, right? So if you have 2 players versus 3, these 2 players get buffs to the health and damage they do. So there's still a chance for them to compete. It's not perfect.
Oh, okay,
It's
cool.
going as perfect as it can be. At least do it while testing and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, so you noticed that I did a dash when he was doing the tummy. Oh, this time I got it.
Oof.
But the first time I did it, I was actually... Oh, I'm low. I got it. Okay, someone joined. Yeah, hopefully they're gonna help the team. I'm gonna try defeating him. Oh, I gotta back up because I'm getting pounded. Okay, Duncan is doing some work. I'll him back. Okay, now is the perfect time to actually attack him. Yo! Oh, tornado. It's fine. I can chase him. I'm designed to chase. Oh, not Duncan. I gotta go back. Duncan's doing some poking. I'm gonna jump in. Kill that. Make some mayhem. Oh, go back.
Whoa. Oh.
And I lost.
He fell.
But it's fine because we are at a good lead. We have 50 seconds. And Lumpkin is holding off, so we got some bonus points. So they capped, but it's fine. But here's the thing, they had to kill the Lunchkin before they could cap. Otherwise they could just stand on the point and still contribute, right? Well, Scarf with the Micah, that's an unholy combination. Because Micah can actually heal Scarf with real good. And the turrets basically weaken the opponents, right? So Sok now is in a difficult position to be, because the point is contested by the turret. Micah can zone him out. I'm close on his tail, I can just pound him and basically force him to use the hook or to punch or whiff. And Pachi here, yeah, he cannot do anything. So now they have to group up and find a way to like either kill me fast or force Micah to reposition her turrets. So yeah. Okay, Sok missed his hook, so that's already a bad start. But look, the Teddy already did some great burst on Micah, so I finished the job. But look, the point is capped, so even though we lost that team fight, that was some good like play from Pachi right there, and Oaken definitely took advantage of that. Okay, he has a hook ready. I'm gonna be annoying. Look out for that. Okay, he's killing. I'm gonna focus on Pachi now. Oh, he's back from eating. Ow. Yeah. So you kinda need dashes if you want to avoid all the damage from Sarkar. So I have to pick my fights. So let's try this again. I'm gonna play a bit more carefully this time. I got hooked, but it's fine because I'm healed. This is a good position to be for us. Okay, I'm gonna stand back. Gonna get the heals. Okay, Pachi is low. I can focus on Oak because he's regenerating. He got the T almost refreshed, but I killed him in time. So that's great. Pachi got pounded by the turret and by Micah, and I had to take care of Oaken. Let's try again. So they threw a Teddy, but yeah, Micah, that was a great job. I did some good damage on Oaken. I'm gonna force him to heal. Oh, okay, I got separated. I'm gonna help Micah. Okay, that wasn't good enough, but Apache is low, so I can still use that. He did use the hook. I'm gonna use my dash damage and invincibility, because the dash can actually do damage. So this is useful for Scarhood. He can either tank damage or he can like I missed. Okay, I'm gonna wait for the hook. Don't come out. Here it is. Gonna waste some time. He's low. I'm gonna commit to the kill. I'm low, so I'm gonna stand back. Get some heals through the wall. Thank you. I'm gonna help Micah now. That's the T, but it's fine. I can take it. I have the health advantage. Oh, okay. This is one thing about the quality of life. So I was holding the attack button, and actually it didn't register my input because I was stuck. So that's one thing we definitely want to polish on. Like have an input buffer and a proper state. Okay, so now it's a 1v2. Let's try it. Okay, never mind. It's a 2v2 again. I'm gonna get the heals. The guy is spammed, so I'm gonna force Oaken to heal. I didn't dash in time and I got pounded. But she almost died. Okay, so we have 2 chances at a push here. So Oaken is great at defense. He can just... We have to approach him. There's no other way. But Apache can deal lots of damage. So I'm gonna focus him first, maybe. Okay. He's approaching. I'm gonna stand back. Yeah, that was a great stun for me. Stun the tornado, forced him. Oaken got pounded, and that's a GG.
Nice. Cool.
Oh.
Well, it's good to see some professional usage of that. I'm just like running around slashing random folks and then dying, but
yeah, it does work. But if you do master the dash, I think he skyrockets in like value and fun plays and stuff.
Cool.
So yeah, that was Xeon. There's lots of more stuff I could talk about, like the assist system that I implemented, more behind the scenes stuff and the game design. But I already talked loads of stuff. Oh, might as well share the concept art for Micah.
Oh yeah,
that I made like for the previous patch. That was like the final design that we made.
Oh,
so
nice.
That was like a beanie hat.
Very cool.
The beanie hat.
I do like just like the iconic simplicity of stuff, just like a hat.
I love simple designs. Like I don't want to add artificial stuff if it doesn't help the character. Like Scrib is the character. I spoiled the name already, so
yeah.
But that character already has some complex stuff. But even though I think it didn't go too far with designs, like he has the skirt, he has the eyeliner, he has the hair, but that's it. He doesn't have like additional like nose rings or anything like that.
Yeah.
That would complicate the character. Like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna repost it just so it's like easy to see what I'm talking about. Like, I love picking just one color, and then red and black. Well, and then black and white. That's it.
Yeah.
One color, monochromatic. It's effective every single time.
Yeah.
So you can see the green in the boots, in the gloves, in the hair, in the eyeliner, everything.
Yeah, I think especially with a game like this where there's so much happening on screen and so many characters visible, it's just like the more simple and iconic, like the easier it is to spot them and just read what's going on and everything too.
And I've been doing character design for like years, so I definitely love having something that's in an actual project and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna probably repost it in art so that people have an easy access to the teaser. So yeah, that was Xeon. I'm so glad I could showcase it better, and thanks for Suck for wanting me to talk about the game. I'm so happy to talk about the game still, and I hope you like it too.
Oh yeah,
and everyone else gets to play the game if more people like it.
Yeah, it's a lot of
because we do announce games sometimes. So if you have the chance, join us.
Cool. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to play, and I enjoy it both as a player, but also as just seeing it from the engine perspective, just thinking about like, oh, how could I make the better accommodate stuff people are trying to do and things like that, and so
I already definitely gave a wish list or like a shopping list of stuff to improve, like get rid of allowing to get rid of legacy bomb squad assets, add your own in the cooking pipeline,
Yeah,
stuff like that. Possible
yeah.
make easier use, easier procedural animations,
There's
stuff like that.
a few of those should be coming pretty soon. As part of what I'm doing right now, as I mentioned, I'm basically will be replacing all the legacy assets with the same assets but done through asset packages. So
Oh yeah,
I'm going to need some sort of way if I want to allow people to mod that, like there needs to be some sort of way to basically like make your own package that like references the standard one, but then like remove stuff or like an overlay or something like that. I
yeah,
gotta work out the details there, but because basically once the game, it's not dependent on the asset package stuff right now because it's just hello world dot whatever,
yeah.
but once it gets to the point where like you need all that stuff in there for it to run, then yeah, it'll be more complicated because you can't just like
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't need much. Like if you can get the custom icon and game name and compile correctly to Android and every platform under the sun, then that's fine because additional stuff like procedural animations, that's all bonus stuff.
yeah.
That's something we can take care of at a later date.
Cool. But yeah, there's a certain number of like textures that are just needed like for drawing the in-game console, or just random things like that where it's like it needs certain things
Or the reflections.
yeah, certain things it'll just need to function. So like there'll have to be some system in place where like if you make a custom asset package, it'll have to somehow include that stuff. So that's what the referencing thing will be about, basically just saying like, hey, pull in just the bare minimum stuff that I need for the engine to run or something. So
Thank you for having me here.
yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, thanks for showing all the. It's awesome to see the progress and everything, and yeah, look forward to the next.
Yeah, the next patches I have big plans.
Nice. Yeah, 4:35. Ask away. I'll answer this question, then we'll wrap up here in a moment. This is gonna be the longest coffee with Eric ever, or even though it's not coffee, so I guess it won't be the longest coffee with Eric ever.
Hopefully, it didn't bore you to death with my design talks and stuff.
No. We had there was a lot of fun stuff today, so it was fun to. Yeah, I always love hearing your thoughts on design and just everything that went into the game. Well, thank you, Sock, and everyone else.
Yeah. Oh, and the asset packages. Yeah, we are on a great track. We already have the basics, and it works already. So definitely want to see how it expands and stuff.
Yeah, I hopefully it'll very quickly get to a point where it just takes over, or like it'll be a stable thing that people use, and it's a little very not experimental right now, but I'm sure like with the textures 2 directory and stuff like that, like we'll smooth out all the bumps here soon. But I'm happy to get it in a place where it's actually working.
Actually, I'm gonna repost in the DMs the wish list for Ballistica suggestions.
Oh yeah.
Ranked from something that would make us switch to a repo instead of an edited game, and then cool stuff would be fun to have and stuff.
Cool. Yeah, it'd be good to have like a ranked list. Hopefully we can check a few off the list here soon.
Yeah, it will probably be very easy for you to then expand the engine and stuff, like being confident that I can do that. This seems simple. This one is kind of a big deal. Let's have it later and stuff.
Yeah, maybe I can give you
Honestly, we don't need a lot. Definitely, we don't need a lot.
Cool. But yeah, I'm happy to at least take that into account and hopefully steer it in that direction.
All
right, let me answer this question. Have you ever thought of Easter eggs like secret characters or maps? I would love to do stuff like that. I mean, a big part of this whole 1.8 thing is all about making stuff like that possible or easier, making it easier to distribute new characters without requiring everyone else to download a new version of the game, stuff like that. So that would be super cool. One of the things I've been thinking about with the asset package stuff is like overlays. I was just mentioning that, like the idea of taking, having an asset package that includes like several other ones, or with not trying to make it too complicated, but I was thinking about the idea of like, if you come up with like a workspace representing like a single character or something that you could then pull into like the standard package if you wanted. But then I was thinking like, maybe you'd want a workspace that like references that character, but like just replaces one texture or something. So you could do like a fun little variation of that character in like a lightweight way, just for organizational purposes. So just, I don't know, thinking about stuff like that where you don't have to like duplicate hundreds of assets all over the place. It's more just like, hey, this is a Christmas version of Spaz or something like that.
Yeah, a simple texture swap is definitely something that's easy.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully stuff like that will be coming down the pipeline after 1.8. But getting ever closer to the elusive 1.8 here. On that note, I'm going to go do some coding. Well, I'm going to get this thing uploading for tomorrow, so if anyone needs to reference how this stuff works. But yeah, other than that, I'm going to work on the next stuff. I'm going to look into like DDS textures and ASTC, getting them all. Yeah, lots to do, and getting the other assets going. So yeah, I'm excited.
About 1.8, is it gonna be like plugins in terms of the on the user end, or is it only for compilation for now?
I promised downloadable ones, like the plugin type thing. Basically, yeah, downloaded on the fly asset packs. So I really want to get that in there. And that shouldn't be, like, the tech behind that will be pretty similar to what's being used for the static assets. So I still plan on including those two use cases. So right now we have the
compilation only.
Yeah, right now it's compilation only. It's so yeah, if you're doing a total conversion or whatever, or just playing with your own copy of the repo or something. But yeah, I do want to get the downloaded ones in there where you can like run a server that uses an asset package, and people connecting to that server will just automatically download those assets. So that'll be a very different but same tech kind of thing. So 1.8 when? I really don't know yet. It's this stuff is taking me longer than I expected, but that always happens. So sometime in upcoming weeks, months.
Yeah, that's your one-man run review. It's not really a big deal if it takes a long time. It's fine.
But yeah, I'm trying not to like get too many tangents, adding too many. Hey, it's my bro. I'm trying not to add too many little extra side quests for myself, but they do happen sometimes.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to like take a little side quest because it's fun or something. So, I got sucked into like revamping the website look, a few weeks ago or something like that, which was a fun little side quest for a few weeks. And I needed to clean up the HTML code anyway at some point, so it was probably good I did it, but it wasn't necessary for 1.8. Not really, but these things happen. So. Anyway, all right, I should bounce and get back to work. So yeah, thanks Mr. Mickey Rog for hopping on and chatting, and been fun. And thanks everyone else for tuning in. And yeah, hopefully we'll have to see. I mean, if this stuff moves fast enough, maybe I will do a coffee or tea or whatever next week, or maybe it'll be 2 weeks. We'll see. I do expect this to be kind of a fast process with asset packages, hopefully filling out the features and things like that, but we'll see. So anyway, been fun, everyone. And I will talk to all of you folks next time.
Yes.
So, all right. Peace out.